Donald Trump just threatened to double tariffs on China starting next month, risking a new trade war that tanked the stock market yesterday. Why would he blow up a deal he celebrated 4 months ago, and what does it mean for your wallet? On Friday, October 10th, the President of the United States announced he might slap a 100% tariff on Chinese goods. That's on top of existing tariffs. It could happen as soon as November 1st, he said. Maybe sooner. Wall Street didn't like it. The S&P 500 dropped 2.7%, its worst day since April. The Dow fell 1.9%. The Nasdaq sank 3.6%. According to reporting by Callum Jones in The Guardian, published late Friday, Trump accused Beijing of very hostile moves on rare earth exports. So, what changed? And why does it matter to you? Let's start with the facts. Over the summer, things were looking up. Trump and China had been negotiating. Relations improved. In June, the president called the relationship excellent after signing a tariff reduction deal. Before that deal, tariffs had hit 145% on Chinese goods. Beijing had retaliated with 125% on American exports. Those numbers crushed businesses and spooked markets, so both sides backed down. U.S. tariffs fell to 30%. Chinese tariffs dropped to 10%. A fragile truce. Then this week, China expanded its export controls on rare earths. Beijing added 5 new materials to its restricted list. What are rare earths? 17 chemical elements you've probably never heard of but use every day. They're inside your phone, your electric car, plane engines, defense systems. China controls more than 90% of the world's processed, rare earths and rare earth magnets. That's a monopoly in everything but name. When China last tightened these controls back in April, supply shortages rippled across the globe. Diplomatic deals eventually eased the pain, but the message was clear. Beijing holds the cards. Trump's response? A threat to impose tariffs of 100%, quote, over and above existing duties. He posted the warning on Truth Social late Friday. He also said the U.S. would introduce export controls on any and all critical software. And he hinted that a planned meeting with Xi Jinping in South Korea later this month might not happen. Quote, there seems to be no reason to meet. Why does this matter to you? Tariffs aren't paid by foreign governments. They're paid by American importers. And those costs get passed to you at the checkout. If Trump goes through with this, prices on electronics, cars, appliances, and industrial goods will climb. We've already lived through years of high inflation. Trump himself has claimed inflation is now zero in the U.S. According to The Guardian, that's not true. Price growth is still rising. A new trade war would make it worse. And it's not just consumer goods. Rare earths are critical for manufacturing. If China chokes off supply, American factories slow down. Jobs are at risk. Supply chains break. Nvidia, the world's biggest public company with a market value near $2.5 trillion, saw its shares drop almost 5% on Friday alone. The FTSE 100 in London fell nearly 1%. This isn't just a Wall Street problem, it's a Main Street problem. So let's look at the receipts. 1. Trump announced the tariff threat on Friday, October 10th, on Truth Social. He said it could happen November 1st or sooner. 2. He accused China of holding the world captive with rare earth monopolies, calling it a rather sinister and hostile move. 3. The Guardian reported that the S&P 500 suffered its worst day since April, falling 2.7%. 4. China expanded rare earth export controls earlier this week, adding 5 materials to the restricted list. 5. Just 4 months ago, Trump signed a deal that dropped U.S. tariffs on China from 145% to 30%. He praised the relationship as excellent. Now he's threatening to more than triple them again. What's the counterargument? Some will say Trump is right to push back. China does control rare earths. That's a national security risk. If Beijing can strangle our supply of critical materials, we're vulnerable. Fair point. But here's the rebuttal. Trump already tried this. Earlier this year, tariffs hit 145%. It didn't break China's grip on rare earths. It crashed markets and hurt American businesses. Then he cut a deal. Tariffs came down. The world economy stabilized. Now, 4 months later, he's threatening to do it all over again. That's not strategy, that's whiplash. And there's another problem. Trump claims tariffs will raise trillions for the federal government and strengthen the economy. But tariffs are taxes on Americans. They don't make China pay. They make you pay. If the goal is to reduce dependence on Chinese rare earths, the answer is investment. Domestic mining, processing facilities, partnerships with allies like Australia and Canada. That takes time and planning. It doesn't make for a good Truth Social post, but it works. Threatening tariffs every few months, then backing off, then threatening again. That creates chaos, not leverage. Let's talk values. Democrats believe in competent governance, in making deals that stick, in building supply chains that don't rely on adversaries. They believe in protecting workers and families from price shocks caused by impulsive policy. Trump's approach is the opposite. He escalates, he de-escalates, he declares victory, then he escalates again. That's not strength, it's volatility, and volatility has a cost. Markets hate uncertainty, businesses can't plan, families can't budget. According to The Guardian, Trump wrote on Friday that this might be potentially painful, but would ultimately be a very good thing for America. Potentially painful for whom? Not for him. For you. For the small business owner who imports components. For the factory worker whose plant needs rare earths. For the family shopping for a new car or laptop. Pain isn't a policy, it's a failure. So what happens next? Trump said the tariffs could come November 1st or sooner. He hinted they might arrive faster if China retaliates. The planned meeting with Xi Jinping in South Korea is now in doubt. If Trump follows through, expect China to hit back. They did it before. They'll do it again. That means higher tariffs on American exports. Farmers, manufacturers, and tech companies will feel it first. Markets will keep swinging. Investors will pull back. Retirement accounts will suffer. And if rare earth shortages return, production delays will ripple across industries. The Guardian noted that the last time China tightened rare earth controls, in April, supply shortages spread worldwide before diplomacy intervened. This time, with trust between Washington and Beijing already damaged, those diplomatic off-ramps might not exist. What can you do? Watch your costs. If you're planning a big purchase, electronics or appliances, consider timing. Pay attention to what happens November 1st. Does Trump actually impose the tariffs? Does China retaliate? Ask your representatives where they stand. Are they pushing for domestic rare earth investment? Are they supporting reckless tariff threats that spike prices? And notice the pattern. This isn't the first time Trump has used tariffs as a weapon, only to reverse course, only to threaten again. Chaos isn't a negotiating tactic. It's a risk. You deserve leaders who plan beyond the next post, who build instead of bluster, who understand that trade policy affects real people, not just headlines. So here's the bottom line. Trump threatened to double tariffs on China starting next month. He says it's about rare earths and national security. But 4 months ago, he cut a deal and praised the relationship. Now he's ready to blow it up again. The stock market tanked. Experts warn prices will rise, and no one knows if this is a real policy or just another round of brinkmanship. That's the loop we opened at the top. Why would Trump torpedo a deal he celebrated just months ago? Maybe he believes the threat alone will force China to back down. Maybe he's trying to look tough before the next election cycle. Maybe he actually plans to follow through. We don't know, and that uncertainty is the point. When policy swings this wildly, everyone loses, except those who profit from chaos. You deserve better. If this breakdown helped you cut through the noise, subscribe for more clear, fact-first analysis of the stories that shape your life.
If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos.